What do you do when you're speaking in a meeting and someone takes the floor from you? Maybe they interrupt you when you pause for a breath. Maybe they just talk right over the top of you. Or maybe they even direct the conversation to somebody else. What the research tells us is that women often find it challenging in these situations because they're judged as being aggressive when really they're only being assertive and asking for what they need. This isn't fair, but it does happen. And when we're judged as being aggressive, the problem is that people stop listening. They shouldn't, but they do. So, how do we get the floor back without looking aggressive, but being willing to be assertive? So, really, the role of the chair is to make sure these sort of shenanigans don't happen. But unfortunately, not all chairs do a good job. So, we need to have a few strategies up our sleeves for when it happens to us. So, the first thing I suggest is that we get comfortable with being assertive without apologizing. I often hear women say things like, "Sorry, Bob, but I haven't finished yet." We don't need to apologize if someone interrupts us. They should be apologizing to us instead. So instead, use the assertive approach where we start with empathy, we reflect back the other person's position, and then we follow it up with advocacy, which is where we ask for what we need. So it could look something like this: "Bob, I can see you're really keen to jump in here, and I'll throw to you as soon as I finish my point." We reinforce our message with strong body language. So direct eye contact, perhaps leaning forward slightly, and even using gestures to kind of re emphasize what it is that we're saying. But we keep a smile and a pleasant expression on our face because we're not attacking them or being against them. We're simply asking for our right to be heard without interruption. Another thing that we can do is use the yes and transitions. So when someone starts to speak over us, we quickly stop them by saying, "Yes, Bob," and then just plow right on with what we were going to say. That sort of initial, very fast agreement with them helps them to not feel excluded or pushed away, and yet we still continue with the point that we're making. Again, the body language and the positivity is really important here. We can also try humour, but I do say use this one with discretion. Depending on the relationship in the context, something like, "Yes, Bob, I can see you're keen to jump in. You'll go next," or "I'm almost done," or "Hang in there, Bob, I'm almost finished." But it's important that you keep your intention fun and light, or else you can come off as passive aggressive or just downright sarcastic. And that's going to backfire on you as well. And then, if all else fails, you can call it out. Using an approach that lets people know that you're frustrated, that it isn't fair, and seeks agreement for how the rest of the meeting can continue. Again, the chair should do this, but if they're not doing it or stepping up, or there's not a clear chair, you can try something like this. "I'm going to call pause here for a minute. I'm feeling that I can't contribute a really important point that we need to understand for this discussion. Can we agree that we'll give each other space so everyone gets to share their thoughts?" Again, it's polite, it's neutral, it's seeking to problem solve and address an issue. And people are going to say, "Yes, of course." And then when it keeps happening, you can hold them back to, "Hang on a minute, I thought we all agreed that we were going to give each other space." It takes courage. But the thing of it is, and it's so important to understand, is that we teach people how to treat us. If we let interruptions go unchallenged, we're effectively giving the person permission to keep on interrupting us. You notice that strong leaders and people who are viewed as leaders will call those interruptions out or even just plow on over the top of them. That doesn't always send a good message. So, the things that I've suggested are a way of maintaining contact, maintaining relationship, and yet getting what you want, which is simply to be heard. I'm sure lots of you out there have got really good ideas about what you do in those meetings. So please put them in the comments so we all can learn. See you tomorrow for some more tips.